Acharya Stotrasatasi Shimad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Stotrasatasi Shimad. His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Jamunamai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Srimati Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. New Dwarka Dham Ki Jai. Prasadam Distribution Ki Jai. Shri Shri Gorni Tai Ki Jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadradev Ki Jai. Shri Shri Rukmini Dwarkadisha Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 1, Chapter 17, Punishment and Reward of Kali. This is text number 32. Tvam vart evam vartamanam nara deva dehesh. Tvam vartamanam nara deva dehishu. Anu pravrito yamadharma pugaha. Anu pravrito yamadharma pugaha. Labhon ritam charyam manarayam amho. Labhon ritam charyam manarayam amho. Jesta chamaya kalahash chadambaha. Tvam vartamanam naradeva dehishu. Anu pravrito yamadharma pugaha. Labon ritam charyam manarayam amho. Jesta chamaya kalayash chadambaha. Tvam vartamanam naradeva dehishu. Anu pravrito yamadharma pugaha. Labon tam charyam manaryam ambo. Jeshta Chamaya Kalahash Chadambaha. Someone else, please. Naradeheshu. Nugaha. Nam Naradhanam Naradeveshu. Anu Pravadito Yama Dharma Pugaha. Tam Vartamanam Nardevaneshu. Anu Pravadito Yama Dharma Pugaha. Lobho Nutam Charanam Ho. Maya Kalahash Chadambaha. Tvam Vartamanam Naradeva Deshu. Anu Pravito Yama Dharma Pugaha. Lobinatam Charyam Narayam Ho. Ladies, please. Tvam you Vartamanam while present Naradeva, a man, god, or a king. Diheshu, in the body. Anu Pravrita, taking place everywhere. Aham, all these. Adharma, irreligious principles. Puga, in the masses. Lobha, greed. Anritam, falsity. Charyam, robbery. Anaryam, incivility. Ha, treachery. Yeshta, misfortune. Cha, and. Maya, cheating. Kalaha, quarrel. Cha, and. Dambha, vanity. Translation: if the personality of Kali, irreligion, is allowed to act as a man-god or an executive head, certainly irreligious principles like greed, falsehood, robbery, incivility, treachery, misfortune, cheating, quarrel, and vanity will abound. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The principles of religion, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness, as we have already discussed, may be followed by the follower of any faith. There is no need to turn from Hindu to Mohammedan to Christian or some other faith, and thus become a renegade or not follow the principles of religion. The Bhagavatam religion urges following the principles of religion. The principles of religion are not the dogmas or regulative principles of a certain faith. Such regulative principles may be different in terms of the time and place concerned. One has to see whether the aims of religion have been achieved. Sticking to the dogmas or formulas without attaining the real principle is not good. A secular state may be impartial to any type of faith, but the state cannot be indifferent to the principles of religion as above mentioned. In the age of Kali, the executive heads of state will be indifferent to such regulative principles, and therefore under their patronage, the opponents of religious principles such as greed, falsehood, cheating, and pilfery will naturally follow. And there will be no meaning to propaganda crying to stop corruption in the state. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Umilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Another wonderful, amazing translation and purport here. When reading this, I think about the mercy that we have been given by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. I think about where we came from, how we've evolved through so many births, and now to have the amazing opportunity to purify our consciousness, so when it's time to leave this mortal world, we have an opportunity to go to somewhere better. We have an opportunity to ultimately go back home, back to Godhead, where we don't have to be concerned with all of this duality, all these bad feelings, this dirty vision that one may have in the material world. we here sitting in this room and those of you listening on the internet today are very, very fortunate. We're all so fortunate because we have the medicine to purify our hearts, to enjoy that for which we're always anxious for, happiness. And it all comes through worshiping the spiritual master and the deities, and in this age of Kali Yuga, as we know from the verse, this age being full of quarrel and hypocrisy. But those 3 words that we chant, Hare Krishna and Rama, are so valuable. This is the medicine. And though, as Rupa Goswami says in the Nectar of Instruction, in the beginning, the chanting, we may not have that taste. We get a little taste. That's why we're doing it. We can all think about when we first came to Krishna consciousness, when we first visited the temple, how ecstatic it was. The taste of the prasadam, the chanting, the Harinam. We all can remember that first time we sat and chanted Hare Krishna. I remember devotees. I was sitting with devotees, and one devotee was playing harmonium, and all the devotees, mridangas and kartals, and how ecstatic it was. And then coming into the temple, I remember in 55th Street, the ceiling wasn't as high as it is here. Maybe it was as high as this area here. And getting a taste and jumping as high as I could, trying to touch the ceiling. Or we're in ecstatic kirtan here, and we're all going in circles, and we're swinging each other and dancing as ecstatically as we can. So we're just scraping the surface. We're not even there. Imagine what it's like when our hearts are pure, our vision is pure. Imagine the ecstasy that we'll be feeling. So this process, as simple as it is, as Srila Prabhupada says, chanting, dancing, and feasting, what is the difficulty? It's a bit of a challenge, though. Because we know in this age of Kali Yuga, when we read all the different not qualities, what is the word I'm looking for? All of the, the faults, Kali Yuga, no austerity, no cleanliness, characteristics, the characteristics of Kali Yuga. Austerity, there is none. There is austerity, but for the wrong reasons. It's not to obtain love of God. It's not to serve the spiritual master. It's not for self-realization. It's for making money. Fame, adoration, and distinction. These are some of the characteristics of Kali Yuga. And it's also temporary. I was thinking how there were people who try to do whatever they can to have that fame, to have the distinction, to have that adoration. It's very, very short-lived. Because even if they have that fame, adoration, and distinction, everybody knows them, what happens is at the time of death, when they leave, and then who knows where they go to, gradually over the course of time, people forget even who they are. So it's a hard struggle for existence. And even if someone is very famous in the sports world, say back in the 60s or the 70s, look them up on the internet now, say in Wikipedia, and look at images of them now, you hardly even recognize them. Even people I knew in high school who were big successful athletes, I don't even recognize them now. And they're overweight. They've lost all that fame, adoration, distinction that they had. So, Srila Prabhupada mentions in this purport several times about the principles of religion. So Srila Prabhupada gave that to us. He taught us how to perform austerity, how to be clean, how to be merciful, how to be truthful. And that's where the four regulative principles come in. Because each one of these is obtained by following the four regulative principles, by following each of the principles. And when any one of the principles aren't followed, then these qualities of austerity, cleanliness, merciful, and truthfulness, they disappear. So austerity is obtained from no intoxications. So when one does not do any intoxications, then they can be austere. When one is celibate and follows no illicit sex, they can obtain cleanliness. When one doesn't eat any meat, no meat, fish, eggs, or chicken, then they can be merciful. And truthfulness can be obtained by no gambling. So these are very, very important. And then the chanting, of course, of 16 rounds a day. And if one follows that, as given by the spiritual master, to chant 16 rounds a day, and we associate very closely with the devotees and take good association, seek out that association of good devotees, then we're safe. We'll be protected. Just like the example given, when you have one stick, it's very easy to break it. But many sticks together are difficult to break. So that good association amongst the devotees is like many sticks together. So we have the most wonderful association here. All of you are very wonderful. And it's such an ecstatic experience in life to be able to associate with such wonderful personalities. So association is very, very important. And so Srila Prabhupada came to America, and we all know the story. We've heard it many times. But think about the austerity that Srila Prabhupada performed to come here. He could have stayed in Vrindavan. But instead he followed and very enthusiastically acted on the instructions of his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Took sannyas in 1959 which I'm going to read a little something about, got on the cruise liner ship. Excuse me, it wasn't a cruise liner ship. Excuse me. It was a cargo ship. That raised some eyebrows. But because Srila Prabhupada was always in Vrindavan, in his consciousness, so perhaps even that cargo ship appeared to be a cruise liner ship, because look what he had in that briefcase, and look what he was coming to do. With very little help. But he had Krishna, he had the orders of the spiritual master. And so, look what we have. Look how Krishna consciousness is spreading around the world. Look at all the wonderful festivals we have. Look at all the wonderful temples. Look at all the amazing deity worship. And so, Srila Prabhupada, we are thankful to you for doing what you did so we can all be here today. So I would just like to read something about Srila Prabhupada's sannyas initiation. So this is coming from the Lilamrita, Lifetime in Preparation, written by Satsarup Das Goswami. On the morning of September 17th, 1959, in the 50 by 25 foot deity room on the second floor of the Keshavaji Mat, Keshavaji Mat, a group of devotees sat before the deities of Radha, Krishna, and Lord Chaitanya. The deities were colorfully dressed in royal clothing and silver crowns. Radharani's right hand faced palm forward in benediction of the worshipper. At her side, her left hand held a flower for Krishna. Krishna stood like a dancer, placing his right leg in a casual tiptoe pose before his left, playing his long silver flute, which he held gracefully to his red lips. His long black hair reached down past his shoulders, and the garland of marigolds around his neck reached down to his knees. On his right stood the deity of Lord Chaitanya, his right arm raised, left arm at his side, his body straight, feet together. He was a soft golden color and had large eyes, well-informed red mouth, and straight black hair down to his shoulders. On one level below the deities, one level below the deities were pictures of the spiritual masters in disciplic succession. Jagannath Das Babaji, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Gaurkishore Das Babaji, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Bhakti Prajnana Keshava Maharaj. Abai sat on a mat of kusha grass beside 90-year-old Sanatan, also to receive sannyas that day. Sitting opposite the two candidates, Narayan Maharaj, Keshava Maharaj's disciple, prepared to conduct the ceremony of mantras and offering of grains and ghee into the fire. Akinchana Krishna Das Babaji, Abai's godbrother, known for sweet singing, played mridanga and sang Vaishnava bhajans. Sitting on a raised asana, His Holiness Keshava Maharaj presided. Since there had only been since there had been no notices or invitations, only the Math's few residents attended. Narayan Maharaj chanted the required mantras and then sat back silently, while Keshava Maharaj lectured. Then, to everyone's surprise, Keshava Maharaj asked Abai to speak. Abai had not expected this. As he looked around at the gathering of devotees, he understood that the common language was Hindi. Only Keshava Maharaj and a few others spoke English. Yet he knew he must speak in English. After Abai's speech, each initiate received his sannyas danda. The traditional head-high staff made of 4 bamboo rods, bound together and completely enwrapped in saffron cloth. They were given their sannyas garments, 1 piece of saffron cloth for a dhoti, 1 for a top piece, and 2 strips for underwear. They also received tilak, neck beads, and the sannyas mantra. Keshava Maharaj said that Abai would now be known as Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and that Sanatana would be Muni Maharaj. After the ceremony, the 2 new sannyasis posed for a photo, standing on either side of their sannyas guru, who sat in a chair. Keshava Maharaj didn't impose any strictures on Abai. He simply encouraged him to go on preaching. Yet Abai knew that to become A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami did not mean merely that he was giving up family, home, comforts, and business. That he had done 5 years ago. Changing from white cloth to saffron cloth, from Abai Babu to Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj had a special significance. It was the mandate he had required, the irrevocable commitment. Now it was only a matter of time before Bhaktivedanta Swami would travel to the west as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati had ordered. This was Bhaktivedanta Swami's realization of this new sannyas status. The Gaudiya Patrika's account of the sannyas initiation included a biographical sketch of Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, listing the major events of his life. The article concluded, and after I read the article, that's the end of the reading here. This is quote unquote. Seeing his enthusiasm and ability to write articles in Hindi, English, and in Bengali, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj gave him the instruction to take Sri Tridandi Sannyas. For nearly 1 year, he had been ready to accept sannyas. In the month of Bhadra, on the day on which Vishvarupa accepted sannyas, Bhaktivedanta Swami at the Sri Keshavaji Gaudiya Math accepted sannyas from the founder of the Vedanta Samiti, Bhakti Prajna Keshava Maharaj. Seeing him accept his ashram of renunciation, seeing this pastime for accepting the renounced order of life, we have attained great affection and enthusiasm. So again, this is from the Prabhupada Lilamrita, and this article was written and posted on Krishna.com. So what an amazing, amazing example that we have. Again, Srila Prabhupada took sannyas, entered into the renounced order of life, and with seemingly externally so little material possessions, he had so many spiritual possessions, though. And he came to the West to give Krishna consciousness. And even there were people, Swamiji, you're an old man, you cannot go, you will not make it. Who will take care of you? But as you can see, Krishna took very good care of Srila Prabhupada. And even when Srila Prabhupada may have thought it was time or maybe he should go back, he still stayed, holding tight to the instructions of his spiritual master. And then, little by little, in his little humble storefront in New York, 26 2nd Avenue, look what's taken place. Look how our ISKCON movement has grown. And for those of you that have been to 26 2nd Avenue and seen Srila Prabhupada's apartment, it was very humble. It was very small. And look where it was. It was on the Lower East Side. The Lower East Side then was not what it is today. The Bowery, it's not what it is today. It might be more like, we see in Los Angeles on the streets, in downtown, off of I-10, with all the tents and so much intoxication going on. That was more of what the Lower East Side and the Bowery looked like. And from a very humble beginning of not even having harmoniums and drums and all big kirtans, Srila Prabhupada sat with these cartels beneath a tree in Tompkins Square Park with little or no material help, and then chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And from there it spread everywhere. And then from there devotees joined. And from there he performed initiations. And more devotees came and then started supporting him. Srila Prabhupada never lost faith in the instructions of his spiritual master. So we follow with that example, and we see that all success is coming for us as well. Some of the things that we're doing, who would ever think? I can speak for myself that I could ever do some of the things that I do. And I think everyone here will say the same thing. As I'm looking around, I see, devotees who have distributed hundreds and thousands of Srila Prabhupada's books every year. I see devotees here that are preaching to congregation, making devotees, giving Krishna's books to them, engaging their Lakshmi, There's devotees that are cooking for the Lord, cooking for hundreds and thousands of people. There are devotees here that are doing amazing service, dressing the deities every day. On and on and on. And this is all by the mercy of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. So we have so much to be thankful for. Thank you to Srila Prabhupada for doing what you've done and what you're doing for us. I want to thank you all for coming to Srimad Bhagavatam class today, here in the temple, and also you all out in internet land. You're not forgotten either. So, Jai. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. May you all have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness. What, Prabhuji? Well, you want to say something?